happened. We're at the final week of Operation Crafty Capers, week 18. I hope you've enjoyed all the crafts and games and puzzles, well, not puzzles, quizzes that we've done, and I hope you're looking forward to the new session of Craft Club when that starts up again. So for our final craft this week, we're sticking with animals and we're going to be making a paper plate snail. Ooh. Well, going like that, you should be going a lot slower. So for this craft, we're going to need from our kit our colouring pens, our glue, and our scissors. And obviously, since it's the last craft, everything that's left in your envelope is what we're going to be using today. So we'll have our tissue paper. Quite a nice noise. We'll have our piece of green paper. And I won't be able to turn this too much to the camera, but you'll have 2 googly eyes, your pipe cleaner, and loads of sequins with your little paper plate there. So what we're going to be doing first is preparing our tissue paper. So if you get all your pieces of tissue paper and layer them up, one on top of the other. It doesn't matter the order, because this is just to get them ready. So line them up all like that. Get your scissors and cut strips out of your tissue paper. So we'll cut all the way across so that it's in strips. I think one more should do it. And that's that. Now the strips that you've made, we're going to cut across those again, and that will cut them into squares. So we'll just cut all the way across our strips of tissue paper like so, and we'll do that for the other strips, and that's just a quick way of getting them all done rather than cutting squares out of every single piece of tissue paper, because we'd be there for quite a while. So with regards to the next session of Craft Club, as I make this video, we're still waiting for guidance from the Scottish Government to say what we can and can't do with youth groups. They've said that we can start next week with clubs, but because they haven't said the do's and don'ts, I'm not ready to have us all meeting again, because I don't think it would be 100% safe without knowing what we can and can't do, and just keeping everybody safe. So once we hear what we can and can't do, then I'll know, and then you'll know, and then we can go from there. So that's all our tissue paper cut into little squares and rectangles like so. It's like leaves. So the next thing we're going to do is take our paper plate, and for this be very careful not to scatter your sequins everywhere, because we'll need them for later, and your googly eyes. So we'll just pop them onto the green paper just now, like so. So you've got your paper plate, and we'll need our glue next for this part. Now I don't know how you've got on with your glue, but I've noticed that in our 18 weeks, I'm nearly completely out of glue. So hopefully you've got some left. If not, I hope you're able to get some. And let's see if this glue lasts to the end of the craft. So we'll pop glue all over the front of our paper plate, covering all the front there. And make sure that it's a good covering, like that. And then what we're going to do is take our pieces of tissue paper and sprinkle them onto our paper plate. So it doesn't have to be neat, just sprinkle, and make sure that the tissue paper covers the entire front of the paper plate. And excuse the scratching noise as I gather the pieces of tissue paper, because I don't know how it sounds on the video, but it doesn't sound quite nice in the room. So we'll just pick those stragglers up there, like so. And then just spread them out so you don't see any bits of your paper plate. And then pat them down so they get a good stick to the paper plate. And then we'll just pick up the plate and give it a shake. So all the bits that didn't find a bit of glue will come off. And then we'll just check that there wasn't any bits missed out. Yeah, that will do. And then, just because I'm a neat freak, what I'm going to do is take my scissors and just go around the edge of the paper plate and cut the stray bits of tissue paper off. Because when, obviously you don't see snails like this in real life, but their shells are smooth and they don't have any bits sticking out of them. So we'll just neaten that off there. So when I was doing this one here, it reminded me of a film that came out a while back. And I don't know if you can guess what film I'm going to say. The film about a snail called Turbo. And if you haven't seen it already, see if you can track it down, because it's a good laugh. There we go. So that's the paper plate neatened off there. Just move those to the side. No, they don't want to. There we go, I'll get them later. And now we're going to jazz it up with our sequins. So normally what I would do is put the glue all over the front of what we're wanting to stick the sequins to. But if I do that, it's going to lift off all the tissue paper and the tissue paper will be stuck to the glue stick. So what we're going to do instead is take our sequins, and remember a few weeks back, I can't remember what week it was, but I was talking about the way the sequin curves. So if you look for the flat bit of the sequin and have it sitting up so it's like a sort of bowl, and pop the glue onto the base of the sequin, and that'll give it a good surface to stick to. And then just find a random place on your plate and stick it down. So we're going to do that for all of our sequins there. It's up to you how many sequins you want to put on. But what I would say is if you avoid this bottom area of the snail shell, because we're going to be putting the snail body onto that like we did with this one. So there's no point in wasting sequins on there because we won't see them. So I'll just continue to put sequins onto my snail shell, like this. And I'm going to press pause on the video, and then when I come back, just like magic, my snail shell will be covered in sequins. So I'll see you back in a bit. Oh, you're back. That didn't take long. So now I'm going to pop the last sequin onto my snail shell, like so. And that's that. Now, with the spare pieces of tissue paper that you've got, you could hold on to those and you could use them to decorate a mosaic picture that you've drawn, or you could get a sort of clear cup and make a sort of waterless snow globe, shaking it about, or you could find your own use for them. Be ashamed to throw them out, so just see what you can come up with. And with the sequins, you don't have to use all the sequins like I said. So if you have some left like me, keep them and they might come in handy for a future craft. So I'll just pop those there because I might need them. I'm going to pop the paper plate out of the way, and I've got my green piece of card, and I'll pop that down there and get one of my pens. Now the next bit is a bit of a trick. You need to decide which way you want your snail to face. Do you want it to face that way? Or do you want it to face to the left? Well, my left. Because whichever way you draw it, it'll be the opposite when you glue it onto your paper plate. The reason being, we're going to put the side with the pen on the back so it gives a neater finish for our snail. So whichever way you draw, once you've cut it out, it'll be the opposite on your snail shell. So just remember that when you draw your snail body. So I'm going to do my snail facing the other way from the snail that I've previously made. So I'm going to start at the top and do an upside down U shape. So it's like a hill. So we'll go all the way around like that. And that's our upside down U, or our hill. Then that line is going to go down and curve along. Then we're going to do a back to front C, and then the side that's nearest the edge of the paper, we're going to take that down, out a bit, and then along. So it looks like a weird sock. It's about the only way I can describe it, a weird sock. So now that we've done that, let's pop the pen to the side, grab the scissors, and we're going to cut that out. Cut that out. So, like I said last week, you'll all be scissor ninjas by now. You go, hotcha, cut out, cut out. So everyone better not leave any magazines or things lying about that they want to keep, or you'll be cutting out all the pictures. So there we go, all the way around there, and round the curves, nice and gently, so the snail's body stays curvy. And the last curve there, and then up to that bit, and just cut that there, and cut that there, and that bits can go in the recycling unless you can find a use for them. And I'm sure this bit will come in handy for a future craft, so hold on to that one. by the end of this 18 weeks, you might have gathered some spare bits and pieces from the crafts to make your own little craft stash. Always comes in handy. So just pop the scissors down, and we're going to get our googly eyes. And remember, these are peely backs. I love the peely backs because they're nice and handy. So we'll just get the backing off there. If you struggle, grab your grown-up and ask them if they can help, or just cheat and put some glue onto the green paper and stick the eyes down onto there. But try not to cheat, try and get the peely backing off. So just get the last one here. I've nearly got it. Nearly. Just when you think you've got it, it just... There we go. And pop that one down on there. Now the reason I didn't put the pen away is because I'm wanting to give my snail a big smile. So there we go. Nice big smile for him, because he's a happy snail because he's got a cool shell. So that's the snail's face there. And then we're going to, oh, and I've just done what I told you not to do. I always make a mistake in these videos. Oh dear. I've put the snail's face on the side with the pen, which I said we weren't going to do. We were going to use the clear side so it gave a neater finish. So remember that, don't be busy getting distracted talking. Remember to turn the snail so you've got the crisp edge to put his face on. But I'll make do with that. So we'll pop him face down onto the table, get our glue again, and on the top of his head on the back, we're going to give a good blob of glue there. Really pop the glue on there. There's a Doric word, I don't know if I've told you it before, to clart it on, which just means to put loads and loads and loads of something on. So if you had a cake, you could clart it with cream, or the paper, you can clart it with glue. So there's just another Doric word for you. Doric's the local dialect for Aberdeen, remember. So we'll just put loads of glue onto there. Yep. And then all along the body, not the head or neck, we'll just pop loads of glue onto the back there. And then we'll pop the lid back onto our glue. Oh, see, mine doesn't even want to go down now. It's just a tiny bit of glue left. Surprised it lasted this long. And we'll get our pipe cleaner and put your thumb and finger halfway, and then use your other hand to curve it up so it makes a V shape. That's going to be the antennae of your snail. So we'll pop that onto the back of his head and give it a good press down so that the glue gets a chance to stick to the fibres of the pipe cleaner. Like so. And then we'll get the snail shell that we've lovingly made and stick our snail bodies onto the bottom of the snail shell. And again, give that a good press down so that the glue gets a chance to stick. And that is our snail with his funky shell. If you are wanting, you could put a hole in the top and get a piece of string or thread, and then you could hang it and decorate the back so that you had a sort of mobile from the roof. or you could get tape or a pin and stick it to the wall if you're allowed, check first. Or you could give it to somebody as a present. You could write their name along the body of the snail. It's up to you. Just a couple of ideas. So those are our snails. Yay! So that's it. All 18 weeks complete. Who'd have thought that back in March, April, that we would have been doing craft club like this? But it's been something different. Hope you've learned a couple of things and had fun. And we'll see what's happening from next week with Craft Club, and hopefully you'll get back to your club soon. So all I can say is thank you for watching. Tell a friend. And I hope to see you soon. So take care. God bless. Bye just now.